So I've lived here in the Virginia Beach area for the past 15 years, and there's no secret that I enjoy living here. If I didn't, I probably would have moved a long time ago. So with that being said, one of the biggest questions that I get is, Aaron, like, okay, you like living there, but what are some of the best things that you like about living here? So in this video, we're gonna go over 10 of those things, 10 of the things that I love about living here, and that you might too if you're looking to move or relocate here. So let's get to it. Hey, what's going on? Aaron here, coming at you live once again from the Living in Virginia Beach YouTube channel. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're brand new. In this channel, we go over everything about what it's like to live here in the Virginia Beach area, as well as surrounded areas in the Hampton Roads. So we have Norfolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, Hampton, Newport News, Portsmouth, just everything across the board. So if that's something that you are interested in learning about, make sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell right next to that to get notified every time we upload a brand new video about what it's like to live here. And then also, we get questions and people reaching out all the time, hey, Aaron, can you help us move to the area? Do you know anybody? Well, we actually have a real estate team that can make that transition a lot easier for you. So at the very least, if you have any questions, feel free to send them to the information at the bottom of this screen, as well as in the description of this video. And if you want to move or relocate and have questions about that, let us know. And make sure to stay to the end of the video, because number 10 is something that surprised me. I literally added it to this list because I thought it was super cool, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So make sure to stay to number 10, because it's going to be something that you probably don't expect. So with all that stuff, that nitty gritty stuff that my producer told me I had to say out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the first 10 things here. So number one, and this is something I laugh when I'm saying this because I've seen a ton of videos of people talking about what it's like to live here, and they always say, there's a beach. Of course, it's in the name, right? So I want to take it a step further and talk about some of the secret beaches. Now, the reason I want to do that is because if you are going to move here, you need to know about these places, and you're going to thank me later, because if not, you're just going to hang out with all the tourists and it's like packed in sardines at the ocean front. So 4 secret beaches you can take advantage of. Number 1 is Sandbridge. You can Google these names, and of course, we're going to create some other videos around these. So another reason for you to subscribe here on the channel. But Sandbridge is a little bit more, well, a lot more south in Virginia Beach, and almost actually south of Virginia in general. It's right on the North Carolina border, almost about 20 minutes from there. What it is just vacation living, second house type place. And because it is a little bit more tucked in, not really a lot of people that are tourists even make their way out there, right? So Sandbridge is one of them. You have the North End, which is still a part of the oceanfront, but it's a little bit more tucked away to where you have to get street parking. And a lot of tourists don't really want to mess with that. They just want to get out of their hotels, go out onto the beach, which they have that luxury of doing. But it also makes it so that we can enjoy the North End a little bit more without the tourists. If you do go up a little bit more north on 64th Street, there's a hidden entrance to First Landing State Park, which brings you to, it's a beach, but it's on the bay, so you don't have the waves or anything like that, but you still get all the same things from the beach. You get the sand, you get the hot weather, well, as long as you're going out in the sun, and then you have the water. The cool, pro about, First Landing's beach is the fact that you can have jet skis, you can have boats, whereas on the oceanfront, you can't really do that. And the 4th secret beach is Chicks Beach, or it's, the First Landing State Park beach, if we can call it that. And the reason that no one really knows about that is because a lot of times up on the north side of Virginia Beach, it is more locals. It's, condo living, houses, things like that, as opposed to the oceanfront. It's mostly hotels and really the tourist spot there. So just a couple things you want to keep in mind so that you don't get run into, the tourist when you're here during the summer and you're looking to live here and you're like, I just don't want to deal with that. So that's number 1. So jumping into number 2 is that there are so many different types of lifestyles with so many different types of price points. Now, we've talked about this before in other videos as well, but, one of the things is, of course, you have the oceanfront living. So you can get a condo, you can get, houses that are actually on the beach itself. Now, keep in mind, those price points will be a little bit higher if you're renting them or if you are planning to own them, but you have the oceanfront living. You also have waterfront living, which is not on the ocean, but it's on, the bay that we were talking about earlier. And it's kind of like lake living. It's not technically a lake, but you have, your boat docks, your jet ski docks, your just everywhere to put all your water toys. If you have kayaks, paddle boats, whatever it is. So you have the waterfront living. A lot of Virginia Beach is mostly suburban. So you kind of have that area if you're looking for more suburban, areas. And then you have the rural living that is down a little bit more in the south of Virginia Beach. So it is Pungo is the name of the neighborhood, we'll say, or the south of Virginia Beach. And again, it's a little bit more in the outskirts of the area. The only thing is we don't really have a downtown area, mostly because a town center is pretty small. There is a high-rise, relatively high-rise building that has, I'm pretty sure it's just condos and apartments. So not sure if you can even like buy anything in the downtown area specifically, but just something to keep in mind if you're looking to move here and you're from a big city. Just we don't really have something like that. So that's the second thing. And then 3, 4, and 5 kind of mold in together, but number 3 being the fact that I love it because it's just Virginia Beach is great for families. Like I said before, I've lived here for 15 years. So, I'm 26 now, and I've lived here through, grade school, middle school, high school, things like that. And being a kid myself, there was always a ton of things to do, right? Because there's so many other kids around the area, you get to make a bunch of friends, right? So if you're watching this and you have kids, then your kids can make friends. I have 3 kids now, all 3 under 3. So we haven't been able to really like go out and about and like, let's say go to the aquarium or things like that, because they're still kind of young for that. Not to mention it was during COVID and we didn't really want to bring them out into public places like that. There's just so many different things to do, right? Outdoor activities, there's a bunch of different parks to take advantage of. So if you have families and if you have kids, then really a good place to really just kind of settle down if you wanted to and take advantage of what Virginia Beach has to offer for families specifically. And then kind of again, leading from number 3 into number 4 is the fact that there's just so many different activities outdoors to take advantage of. So, I think the last time I looked, there's like 70 different parks in not Virginia Beach specifically, but like in the Hampton Roads area. So you can basically drive for like a couple minutes and then get to some sort of park. So jungle gyms, tennis courts, basketball courts, just outdoor activities to take advantage of. Not to mention the multiple state parks that we have. So First Landing State Park being one of the largest. And, to be honest with you, we spend almost every weekend up there because they have, hiking trails, they have, the beach, they have a ton of things to take advantage of outdoors. And especially being that we have over 300 days of a sunshine every single year, it's almost impossible to not go outside. Now, that's with the caveat that in the middle of the summer, it is always super freaking humid. So just something to make sure that hey, we'll probably want to either stay indoors for like the hottest parts of the day, just so you don't like go out and get drenched in sweat as soon as you go out into the car. The only reason I say that is from experience. So maybe a little bit TMI, but I have to give you guys that information to make sure I'm serving you the best and giving you and just being honest on what it's like to live here. So number 4 does lead into number 5, and this is does come with the name as well, Virginia Beach, being that we have the beach, but it's also the beach lifestyle and the activities that come with that. So as a family, we really love to go out and about to the beach, sometimes to play tourist is what we call it. Knowing that knowing the rush hour times and days, we'll usually go during the week, not necessarily during the weekends, to kind of stay away from like the weekend rush. There's at the beach, there's, you have the ocean front, you can walk up and down. You can also get what we do sometimes is get like there's 4-seater bikes where like everyone chips in as they pedal, and you can, the front person in front steers. So it's really fun just to be able to go down there. Obviously there's, a ton of bars, there's a ton of places to eat and things like that. So taking advantage of what it has to offer. And then also the different festivals that take place. So I'm really 4 that I can think of top of mind. Number 1 is we have the Neptune Festival, which is a little bit more in the off season, not off season. It's like it's September, October time, and they have a massive. It's one of the biggest sand castle building competitions, I believe, in the world. A lot of people all over the world come and see that. So that's then, and then towards like the end of summer in like August time, we have ECSC, which is the East Coast Surfing Competition. Again, people from all around the world come here specifically to watch that. Surfers from around the world, which to be honest, I don't know why, because we don't have the best waves. Like almost every single year, like you go out there and you see them like trying to surf on some of these waves that are basically non-existent. So hey, it brings a lot of people here, so that's fine. And then the 3 major festivals that we have is the Patriotic Music Festival, which is a bunch of country artists at the beginning, during Memorial Day weekend, Labor Day weekend. There is American Music Festival, which brings more of kind of like the I don't even know what type of music to call it, like rock, kind of like not country, just a little bit more not alternative. It's just more like old school music, right? Like, and that's probably the worst way to explain it. But then we also have Something in the Water, which has only technically happened once, and then the past 2 years has been canceled because of COVID. But there's a ton of music artists. The first year it's put on by Pharrell Williams, who is local to the area. And he brought Missy Elliott, which is also local to the area. I think there was like Eminem, there was Jay-Z, there was Beyonce. There was just so many big big names within the industry that were here for Something in the Water. So 2022, definitely something to look forward to for Something in the Water actually coming back to Virginia Beach. So jumping into number 6 of the 10 things that I love about living here in the Virginia Beach area is it's called the Vibe District. Now, the Vibe District is relatively new. It's like a neighborhood within the oceanfront, and it is, I'd say it's our like hipster area, we'll call it. And I know like hipster, I don't mean that in like a negative way whatsoever, but it's just kind of like the vibe. Like I was gonna say it's the vibe, but obviously it's the vibe. It's the Vibe District. So there's, you can expect a lot of like coffee shops, like smaller businesses, local businesses. There's different like gym areas. There's like food, a ton of really good food. There's a coffee shop that I love called Badass Coffee, and it's just the vibe that is there is really cool. It's like a small town kind of feel, and I'll put some pictures and things like that up on screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But it's just a really good vibe. Being there, walking around, there's concerts that go on down there as well. And they actually just finally finished construction after like 2 or 3 years. So it looks really nice now. But it's a really cool vibe to be able to be down there, just hang out, spend the day there. There's a ton of different things to do. And that's one of my favorite parts about, or one of the things that I love about living here. Now, number 7 is really good for you if you do have kids that do go to school. Now, I do want to put a caveat, as the information I'm about to tell you is stuff that I pulled off the internet. I'm not saying like you need to go to like the schools here or anything like that. But we're actually ranked number 9. Virginia Beach School District was ranked number 9 out of 131 school districts in Virginia itself. Now, in terms of like all the US, I think it was within like 30s or 40s. Don't quote me specifically on that part of it, but I know that number 9 out of 131 is pretty good. And even, some of the schools that I went to as a kid, like I know that they were some of the best. We have like an academy system here, and we'll do a whole other video on what that looks like for like high schools and things like that. But just knowing that, we have some of the best in the state in terms of the school systems, so that that when your kids are going to school, they're going to be in good hands. So just something to keep in mind if you do have kids that are going off to school. Now, number 8 of the 10 things that I love about living here is the fact that it has, Virginia Beach really does have like a small town feel. Now, that might sound a little bit weird because like I've already talked about how touristy it can get and like how many people come here and things like that. But when you compare it to like a downtown area, or you compare it even to like Atlantic City or Myrtle Beach or some of the places that are kind of similar to what we have here, is it's not as busy. Like you can have like, obviously the oceanfront is always going to be extremely busy, but even just like a couple of streets or a couple of miles outside of that, it's just calm. It's just this feeling of, you are in a little bit of a small town. Like it's funny, a lot of people that live in Virginia Beach or have lived here for a long time, there's a joke that goes around is like everybody knows everybody in Virginia Beach, which is kind of, it's true. I don't know why, I've never been really able to figure that out, but like, great example is, I used to work at a restaurant down at the oceanfront, and I feel like I still see those people like all over the place. From high school, it's like I just partnered up recently with a couple of people for some of the business stuff that we're doing that I went to high school with, that I had no intention of back then, but we just kind of crossed paths once again being here in the area. So again, small town feel, everyone knows everyone type thing. And yeah, that does sound kind of weird, especially because Virginia Beach is one of the largest, I think it's the largest and most populated city in Virginia, or all of Virginia. So I don't know. So number 9, and this is a little bit more of like a pro than maybe like the thing that I love because I haven't had to like move to other parts or other cities, but Virginia Beach is very close to other neighboring cities. So for example, if the cost of living here is a little bit too much for somebody, they can easily go to Chesapeake, or honestly, if they just want more bang for their buck in terms of, if someone's buying a house, is that they can get a lot more house in most cases. Don't quote that as a 100%, but because, the closer you get to the beach, of course, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. As you go down to, let's say, Chesapeake or Norfolk or Portsmouth or anywhere that's still, yes, on this side of the water, it's just going to be a lot less expensive up there. So I think just one of the pros of living here in this area is no matter where you live, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, whatever it is, you're still, 10, 15, 20, maybe even 30 minutes from the beach, but that's still good, right? Especially if you're able to save X amount of money per month based on where you're living. So just something to think about as well. If you are someone that's looking to move here, just do a little bit of research and we'll be able to give you a lot of that information as well of cost of living here as well as some of those other cities. So make sure to subscribe if you aren't already. All right, guys, the moment you've all been waiting for. At the beginning, I said number 10 is kind of out of the ordinary, something that I didn't even expect. And the fact that we are ranked number 1 in the United States, according to Wallet Hub, I'll leave a link down below so you can kind of see the list of other places, but ranked number 1 in terms of the biggest or the biggest cities to live in the US. So I'll let that sink in for a second. So I actually have this pulled up right here, and we'll have a screenshot up as well of, so it's ranking based on a couple of different things. So affordability rank, economy ranked, education and health rank, quality of life and safety. And surprisingly enough, I didn't really think that we would be ranked number 1 out of all, 50 states for affordability, but we are. So if that tells you anything about some of the cost of living, then yeah, we'll definitely make a whole other video about that. But I just thought it was really cool to know, a couple of years ago, we got ranked number 1 in like 2017, 2018 at ranked number 1. But also, I mean, we're back at it again. So again, I wanted to add it here because, obviously me sitting here and saying, well, these are the things that I love about it. Of course, that's one thing, but having like an article based on some of these stats that they're breaking through. Number 2 is like Austin, Seattle, San Diego, Las Vegas as some of the big cities. But I think it's just really cool to be able to be ranked up there and almost validate the reason why I've lived here for the past 15 years. So with that being said, guys, that is the 10 things that I love about living here in the Virginia Beach area. And if you're someone that is like, hey, these things that you talked about are kind of cool and they're interesting, and I do want to figure out what it would be like to live there or move there, or what that looks like, and you have more questions, I'm going to go ahead and leave some links down below, as well as our information at the bottom of the screen here, to go ahead and just shoot us a text. I'd love to, even if you just saw this video and you just want to say, hey, Aaron, great video, loved it. It does let me know that these videos, do help you. So I'll leave those down there, as well as if you're like, you know what, Aaron, like we're looking to move there, shoot us questions, or if you did need some help for doing that. So with that being said, Aaron here from the Living in Virginia Beach YouTube channel. If you have any questions, make sure to let us know. I'm down in the comments below, as well as leaving a like on this video and subscribe if you want to get notified every single time we upload brand new videos on this channel about what it's like to live here in the Virginia Beach area, as well as the surrounding Hampton Roads area. So with that being said, guys, Aaron here, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.